Hi, my name is Sherry, and I am the author of From Sabotage to Success, as well as a number of other books and articles. And I decided it's time to dust off all the self-doubt and re-embrace my author slash writer role in life. It's definitely that time. So to start that off, I'm doing some reading of my previous books. Behind the scenes, I'm writing some new books, and I'm really glad that you're here along with me on that process. And I'm reading some of the very things that helped me write a book in the first place, write a second book, write some articles, and achieve some milestones in my career. So now it's time. It's never too late. I mean, I'm not young, depending on what your definition of young is, but I have a youthful spirit. I have vigor. I am invigorated. I have life. I have life force. I have creativity, and I tapped into it through certain practices, because frankly, I've had times in my life where my face is planted on the sidewalk. I've had times in my life where I could barely get my butt out of bed. So it's not like I'm a natural like this. It does actually take a little bit of effort and some practice. And I really specifically like to reach out to those people who have that as well. They may or may not know it, but it's really exciting to watch that come back to life, or to life if it's been pushed down, which frankly a lot of times it is. Okay, so I'm reading a portion of my book here that's on page 109, and it's a subtitle, Brainstorming to Expand Your Consciousness. I was writing this in 1996-ish, somewhere around that time, got it published in 2000, and I was doing workshops with real live people and watching this thing manifest itself not only in my own life but in other people's lives. So it was pretty contagious. I hope to bring some of that back. Brainstorming to expand your consciousness. If you're not sure what your goals are or how you can achieve them, brainstorm with others to come up with alternatives to your familiar beliefs. Ask yourself, what are some of the things I can do to accomplish my goal? Write down any answer that comes to mind, no matter how crazy it seems. Don't judge your brainstorming. You can also find your own answers by taking a few deep breaths, closing your eyes for 10 to 15 minutes, and repeating the following sentence to yourself. I am clear and receptive. I am ready for my highest good. When you're sure that your goals, when you are sure what your goals are but not sure how to attain them, repeat this sentence. I may not know how this is possible, but it is possible. Then remain quiet for about 10 to 15 minutes, allowing ideas to come to you naturally. Try not to judge, criticize, or analyze the thoughts that come. Just observe them casually and note how creative and interesting they are. Don't get upset with yourself or try to force the thoughts out of your mind, because that just gives them more power. When distracting or negative thoughts come to your mind, simply allow them to drift away naturally. You may want to put a pen and paper by your side before you start this process so that you can write down any ideas or inspirations that come your way. After the time is up, write down your ideas and then follow through on those that you are able to. Before you start, you may want to set a timer or play a 15-minute music tape so you'll know when the time is up without having to open your eyes or look at a clock. Even if you don't get a great flash of inspiration from this exercise right away, it will work better as you continue. Sitting quietly and allowing yourself to relax can open your mind because you are less stressed and tense. The affirmation, "I may not know how this is possible, but it is possible," will help open your mind to new possibilities. You may get ideas and inspirations after your meditation time, when you're doing something like driving your car or standing in line at a grocery store. Pay attention to these inspirations and dare to act on them, even if they sometimes seem silly. You never know what might happen if you make that phone call, pay that compliment, or send that letter. You know, when I think back to the 1996 version of me who was writing this book and how many brand new things were happening in my life, that I was just almost walking through one curtain after another and just exposing this new world to myself, because, man, some other day I might tell you some of where I came from, but it was dark. It was definitely not a place that seemed like possibilities, hope, or anything like that. It was ugly, really, which is part of the reason why I have the motivation to do these videos and write these books to begin with, because I feel like if I could go from being where I was to where I am now, then it's worth sharing for somebody else. I know through decades of teaching in the general population that there are many, many people who are worse off than I am, many, many people who are better off than I am, and many people who can go from being in a certain position in life, you know, just wherever, and they can move forward over time. They can move past limitations over time. They can learn new things. They can open their eyes. They can realize new possibilities. This isn't just some sort of woo-woo thing, you know, and it's not just something that happens in a church or something like that. I'm talking a community college here. I'm just talking about your basic, literally at times working on the street. I am not kidding you. Not that kind of working on the street, but the kind of thing where, you know, I've worked as a counselor, case manager. I've worked with really down and out people. And I've seen people go from hardcore addiction to recovery. I've seen people go from losing everything to getting things back. I've seen people from taking to giving. It happens a lot. And sometimes we don't hear those stories. So brainstorming is really powerful. I've also read in previous videos about finding mentors. So maybe this mentor isn't just some big, great, amazing person who's like a billionaire or something like that. Maybe it's somebody who went from being unemployed to being employed. Maybe it's somebody who went from smoking cigarettes every day for 30 years to quitting smoking cigarettes. Maybe it's somebody who was obese and is now at a healthy weight. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to always be about some huge attainment. But I can tell you attainments, whether they're small or huge, are very meaningful, and they impact you on a cellular level. Yes, I'm going to say that. They impact you in a way that it sinks into you, so that then the next time that you're getting ready to do something that you don't think you can do, that you think is hard, that you're uncertain about, you have that cellular memory that says, oh yeah, I know what it feels like to go from thinking I can't do something to doing it. And the ironic thing is you can't always explain how that happened. I mean, I've had that sensation happen to me over and over again, but to break it down step by step and explain how it happened, that's pretty hard. That's pretty difficult, but I can say that it happens. It definitely happens. So sometimes I have a statement that I say to myself, I can do something 10 weeks from now that I think is impossible, that I currently think is impossible. And I remember I used to use that statement quite a bit in roller derby. In fact, I may have even started it in roller derby because truly I was in a class where I couldn't do pretty much anything that anybody else was doing. And I would just take little steps. And then 10 weeks later, I reflected back at watching myself skate backwards or doing these various things that I was convinced I was never going to be able to do. And there I was at the 10-week later mark doing them and really having forgotten all about the fact that I was terrorized, terrified, and frozen in fear, convinced that I was never going to be able to do it. Maybe you've had a situation similar to that. It might be about roller derby, it might be about something else. But if you do, put it in the comments. Seriously, so that you can remember and we can also remember with you. And not only that, if you're enjoying this video or this series of videos that I've put out, like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell icon so that you can get notifications about the next video that comes out. But for now, this video is over. And so I just say bye for now, and I'll see you next time.